A dialogue took place in the Capital Markets Summit on Tuesday, which was quite an eye-opener for the discussion taking place in the market currently. One of the main issues that was tackled was the capital gains tax, known as the CGT. The implementation of the tax was delayed several times, and the discussion that took place in the summit was blowing the wind towards its cancellation. Capital markets players expressed their views and the efforts undertaken to dampen the effect of the tax on the market. This tax affects investors in the market more than the service providers, meaning the brokerage firms, because de facto the tax will be paid by the recipient of the service, the investor. What will the return of the tax be? Can it surpass the value of the return from a vibrant, from a deep market? This was one of the main discussion points. The psychology of the market, any market, is an equally important factor in market economics and decision-making, let alone the timeliness of statements coming out during discussions or in a prelude to implementing or to changes in the economies. Good evening. You're watching the Business Insider on Nile TV International, and I'm Ayman Salah. Our weekly program tackles events affecting economies and business, and we aim to bring you the inside story. All right, now let's start with some news. 20 lawmakers signed a petition to formally ask the House Speaker to allow debate on the upcoming 1st of January 2022 reintroduction of the capital gains tax on Egyptian stock exchange transactions, while the Upper House of Parliament proposed a series of meetings to discuss the feasibility of the CGT. Now, the corporate gains tax is a 10% tax domestic investors would pay for the net realized portfolio gains on the EGX. After years of delays, the Finance Minister, Mohammed Maid, said the tax is due to come into effect on the 1st of January 2022. Market leaders, members of Parliament, fund managers, and figures from the securities industry have voiced concerns about the timing of introducing the tax, asking it to be postponed after having been already pushed several times since its introduction in 2014. They have even called for replacing or cancelling it entirely to help a recovering stock market. And for the second and final news item, the International Monetary Fund on Tuesday slashed this year's economic growth forecast for Asia and warned that a fresh wave of COVID-19 infections, supply chain disruptions, and inflation pressures pose downside risks to the outlook. The IMF cut this year's economic growth forecast for Asia to 6.5%, down 1.1 percentage point from its projection made in April, as a spike in Delta variant cases hit consumption and factory outputs. While inflation expectations are generally well anchored in Asia, higher commodity prices and shipping costs, coupled with continued disruption of global value chains, are amplifying concerns over persistent inflations. Add to that, the World Trade Organization chief warned that supply bottlenecks are likely to persist through the run-up to Christmas holidays. Huge stimulus spending by wealthy nations and healthy economies led to a demand surge for which shipping companies were not prepared. We'll be back. Welcome back. You're watching the Business Insider. Tonight I have the pleasure to be hosting Mr. Ahmed Khattab. He's the chairman of the Sustainable Investment Committee in the Egyptian-Canadian Business Council. A pleasure having you on the show here tonight.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir. Tonight's discussion is the digital transformation and its effect on export promotion. Let's watch this report and then start our discussion.
To accelerate development, an understanding was reached that the country has to digitally transform and modernize its economy. The digital transformation is enabling the creation of new business models, further fueling economic growth, with measures such as infrastructure development, human capital investment, digital entrepreneurship support, and the enhancement of the business environment. According to the World Bank, the information and communication technology sector currently accounts for 3.1% of Egypt's GDP. This figure is targeted to double by 2025, and that's according to the government. So in the coming 3 years, raising the sector's contribution to the GDP along with increasing export capacity of products should be accomplished. The Ministry of Planning and Economic Development said that the sector and outsourcing services are to reach $6 billion compared to the current $3.5 billion targets. The share of technology exports to total merchandise exports hover around the 5%, with communications and information technology sector investments estimated at 60 billion Egyptian pounds. So how will this contribute to expanding Egyptian exports? Since the onset of COVID pandemic early 2020, the sector proved to be of critical importance, with a demand that witnessed an unprecedented boom and a reliance on networks due to social distancing and conducting all financial and banking transactions by automated means. The transformation represents an opportunity to be capitalized on so as to affect industries of all kinds, such as manufacturing, agriculture, financial services, retail, healthcare, education, tourism, media, and others. Throughout the pandemic, businesses of all sizes have faced delays, product shortages, and rising costs linked to disruptions in the global supply chain. Consumers have been confronted with an experience rare in modern times. No stock available, and no idea when it will come in. The supply chain nightmare is a rising prices for consumers and is slowing the global economic recovery. Is there an opportunity there?
Welcome back to the Business Insider. I'm Ayman Salah, and I have the pleasure to be hosting Mr. Ahmed Khattab, the chairman of the Sustainable Investment Committee in the Egyptian-Canadian Business Council. All right, digital transformation and export promotion is our topic tonight, but let's start with your evaluation of the world economic outlook. We've heard what the World Bank, what the IMF are saying. How do you assess their reports that have been issued so far?
Yeah, first of all, let me send a positive indicator about the Egyptian economy as a part of the world economy, especially in the last 2 years during the COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic affected the economy of all over the world. But let me shed more light about the Egyptian economy, especially during the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, and starting from 2021 until we start the next year, 2022. The Egyptian economic reform takes the right direction, and all the government under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi do a wonderful and very good achievement about the economic reform in Egypt. And the Egyptian economy is still very solid during the last 2 years, and we have about 3% growing rate, and it's a very positive position according to the world dynamic related to coronavirus. If we make a comparison between Egypt and all over the world, Egypt have still very good and very positive position according to Standard & Poor report, according to Fitch report, according to International Monetary Fund report, World Bank. So all the international agencies send a positive indicator about the Egyptian economy as a solid and as a growing. And starting from 2022, we will reach to 4%. I hope.
Some see that we can even reach higher than 4.5%.
Yeah, maybe 4.8, maybe 4.7%. But if we will be in at a 4%, it will also very good percentage. The future of digital transformation and economic growth in all over the world take a...
Let me, before we get into this,
yeah,
you heard the report by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, they have slashed the economic growth forecast for Asia by 1.1%, and warning that the supply chain disruptions, the inflation pressures, they pose the greatest risk currently. So how is this affecting the world economic outlook?
Yeah, supply chain will add more inflation to the cost related to all over the world, especially in Asia and also in Africa. And lastly, especially when the price of the petroleum sector increase, will also reflected to increase in the inflation, and all the prices will increase. But I think the supply chain should take the right direction, and it should be more digitalized and should support the world economy by organizing the order, by launching a lot of international associations in all over the world, like COMESA, for example, like many others organizations help to support the orders of supply chain and all over the world. And I think the multinational company like Maersk, for example, and all the company work in supply chain should try to protect the price from any increase, because all of us...
but this is not happening because the price has increased.
Yeah, and the inflation increased all over the world,
right.
Especially after the COVID-19 crisis. And this is the main challenge face all the key countries, like America, like China, like Japan, all over the world.
Some go to the extent of warning of a stagflation.
Yeah, I think stagflation, and I think...
which is dangerous economically.
Yes, it's very dangerous economically, but I think the major government and the key government like America, like Germany, like France, showed the president of this country sit together in one round table in order to discuss how to control the price, especially after the pandemic. All of us...
Do you expect this to be happening in the G20 leadership
I think
summit?
in G20 leadership, this is will be the very main issue we should discussing in the round table, because this is the key country in the world, and I think the key country like President of America, President of Japan, President of France, will take the right decision related to the increase the trade between this key country, and because all the American citizens worried about the inflation, for example, and all the presidents of the key country work to make a reduction of the prices, because all
China and the US.
This is the main challenge face the world in the coming 2 years, for example. But I hope the two countries will sit together and solve this problem, because competition between China and America need to increase in price, and they lead to more inflation, for example. And this is very dangerous to the world economy. And the growing country also have a good relation. A growing country like Egypt, like South Africa, all this country make a merge with a key country like USA and China, and I think the increase in price will reflect negatively to the economic of also growing country. But I think the key country in Middle East and North Africa, like Egypt, have a good and very solid tie and relation between China country and the USA country, and I think this is very good and solid relation between the president of the country will reflect positively into the Egyptian economy, and will reflect also into the inflation in the price related to the Egyptian economy, for example. And I hope such increase in price reduce the demand for import of a lot of, especially some kind of goods. We have alternative in Egypt.
All right.
Yeah.
How is the digital transformation happening in this country prepared us for such mega events?
Yeah, the future of digital transformation and economic growth and all over the world take a very care and a very important issue related to the economy, Why? Because if we go back to for 2 years, for example, if we don't have financial inclusion in our banking sector, or if we don't have e-commerce, for example, collection, electronic collection, like a lot of online collection and online payment of all the goods and services, this is will reflected positively to the Egyptian economy and all over the economy in the world, especially in the case of COVID-19 in the last 2 years. So digital transformation take very care from the Egyptian government, especially in new capital administration city and new Al city, and a lot of city and all the governmental bank under the leadership of the central bank take this the right direction, especially in financial inclusion. And if we go back for 4 years, Egypt hosting a very important forum, financial inclusion forum, under the leadership of the governor of the central bank, Mr. Tariq Amir, and send a clear instruction to all the governmental banking sector and the private banking sector to be digitalized, and all the government under the leadership of our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also takes the right direction in the digital transformation. I think in our report with Minister Dr. Hala Saeed, she speak about the digital transformation in the Egypt, how to be also Egyptian governmental service process on digitally 100%, especially in new administration capital city. A lot of license, you can make all the process computerized. A lot of payment and the collection process through the wallet application from your mobile, through your e-commerce. So all this achievement and effort done in last 3 years, especially in digital transformation, will support the Egyptian economy in order to be stable, and will support and open the market to increase the volume and size of export from Egypt to all over the world. Especially Egypt is the key and main gates of Africa, especially after we have new Suez Canal corridor, after we have new Suez Canal logistics area, will facilitate the process of trade from Egypt to all over the world.
What would you say are the major milestones that have been achieved in the digital transformation process in this country?
Yeah, a lot of achievement in the field of digital transformation in the country, especially from 4 years, in a lot of many different fields. In the field of education, for example, Mr. Tariq Shawi do a lot of achievement in this case, and because of this, we don't stop our education process through a COVID-19 pandemic. All the students in school and students in university have online education, and it will be a must in the future to have a merge between live education and online education. A lot of governmental university and also private university work in this process. The banking sector work online through the smart branch in this sector. The upgrading of infrastructure related to the communication and information system upgraded in smart city in 6 October and in new administration capital city and the new Al city. I think Minister of Communication and Minister of Communication and Information System also do a wonderful achievement in new capital mission city. We have opening a new branch related to Minister of Communication and Information System, help the government to make the process and present governmental service online 100%. The process of payment of electricity online, the process of payment of water, process of payment of a lot of governmental services like license also will be through the Visa card or electronic card, and this will be a very good achievement in digital transformation in Egypt.
What about smart cities?
Smart cities will be the future of Egypt especially after we take the vision of sustainable development 2030, and once the government starting from 2022 to start operation from new new administration capital city, I think it will be add value and the achievement of the government will increase. The fraud and all illegal action will be reduced to 0%, because once you make a system and you follow the process, it will lead to 100% secure services and
100% automation.
And 100% automation.
So you're decreasing the human factor.
Yes, and the 100% digitalization will lead to more achievement and more save of time, more save in number of employees, especially the number of employees will transfer to new capital city, have a good and wonderful training in new academy for training youth.
What about the cabling system, in the underwater cabling system coming through Egypt? How is this contributing to the digital?
Egypt do a wonderful in all infrastructure, even the cable related to internet connection. It will be fiber and very high speed capacity of internet, and the governmental sector in the file of communication add more investment and direct investment with cooperation with Emirates, for example, with the cooperation with UK, and also the Egyptian government spend more in order to be smart. And the new capital city will have a smart brain, cover all Egypt, and connect with
the data center.
And we have the control room to manage all the governance through the new capital administration city, and it will be secured 100% underground. And our business CC sent a clear message. It will be secured, and it will be very easy to the president of Egypt to have good communication with every governor, even for example, with Aswan, with Alex, with Bihira, Kabr Sheikh, all in time.
Improved
and I think, the meeting also will process online meeting and will be secured 100%.
When we're talking digital transformation, we're talking digital cities, one must put into consideration as well the smart industrial cities. You have the Suez Canal, the economic zone, for example, and you have others. This will take us to the industrial boom, if you will. But first, let me go back a little bit and ask you, when I introduced you, I said you're the chairman of the Sustainable Investment Committee. I understand sustainable development, but when I talk about sustainable investment, I'm curious to know, what does that mean?
All the world in the coming 40 years highlight in sustainable investment. Why sustainable investment? Sustainable investment because it will be long life investment. For example, more than 10 or 20 years. For example, in Egypt, in Benban solar energy, this is a kind of sustainable investment. Why? We depend on all the raw material located in Egypt.
What's the difference between sustainable investment and green investment?
Yes, green investment and sustainable investment. Green investment with matching with the nature of the life, and the sustainable investment take the advantage of green investment, but by more profitability and consistently in profitability. Maybe green investment insist in the profitability and at the same time the nature of the life and the lifestyle and the human being. So I think the two kind of investments, even green investment or sustainable investment, will take the right direction, and there is no conflict of interest between the two kinds of investment.
So when I link the two and I say digital transformation and export promotion, how do these go hand in hand?
Digital transformation and export will support each other. Why we support each other? I am, for example, located in Egypt and I want to make export of orange, for example, to China. The process of export through the digital process, it will be very easy. You will receive the demand order from China, for example, for 100 kilo or 1,000 kilo. And the process of transformation through the more advanced logistics channel will be very easy and will save in time, will save in the process of delivering the service or the product to the country and delivering or collecting the money back to the export country, for example, like Egypt. So the digitalization will facilitate the process and increase the size and volume of the trade between all over the world. Especially today, for example, if I want to make a meeting with you and a meeting with another one in China in the same time, we will just go through the mobile and do it online. So this is one kind of digital economy and will support. And during this meeting, we will take a lot of decisions related to the win-win situation to the two countries, especially in the economic field. So once we take this right direction, we will gain, and gain will be add value to the economic Egyptian economy, and they will lead to reduce the inflation, and they will increase the GDP, and will increase the percentage of growing. For example, Fitch and Standard and Poor and all international organizations, once they make appraisal of the Egyptian economy, it will take the digital transformation into consideration, and it will take a lot of advantage presented from the governmental bank and the private bank sector. Take also the opinion of some Egyptian businessmen and also foreign businessmen invest in Egypt. If you go back for 2 or 3 years, the direct foreign investment in Egypt increased year by year, and this is a very good indicator to foreign investors to come and invest in Egypt, because we have the high profitability in the Middle East and North Africa, for example.
Customs clearance is another example of the digital transformation.
Yes.
Now you have cleared goods before they arrive, as I understand. That's the new system, right?
Yes. Customer clearance is very important, especially to the export and import sector, and also the tax calculation of tax and the sales tax and added tax. All this process related to government, once transferred to digitalized, it will be clear 100%, and they will encourage the foreign investor to send a lot of product to Egypt, and Egypt will be the key country in Middle East and in North Africa, and all regional office will be located in Egypt because of this, because we have most upgrade to customs and most upgrade to taxing system. And Mr. Mait in last report sent a clear message: in Egypt we will facilitate all the process related to custom clearance and tax and all kind of finalizing the process of export and import of all goods from all over the world, and will connect directly through electronic payment process.
It saves time, thus saves money.
Yeah.
Saves bureaucracy,
Yes.
thus saves money. Saves human interaction, thus saves money.
Yeah. And the time is very important, especially in fresh product.
And time, right. So basically it contributes to your competitiveness.
Yes, if we go back, for example, we have one clearance, for example, in Dubai, in Jabal Ali, and in Dubai. Dubai have a very good achievement in this file. Why? Because this is the Dubai country present a wonderful service to all over the world. So Egypt take a lot of engagement and participation in Sokhna and in also Alex,
Port,
yes,
right.
Port Sokhna, and a lot of logistics company between the two countries working together to support the trade. And the new Suez Canal corridor will send a clear message to the world in Egypt. Supports the world in trade, especially in Egypt as a key country in Africa, and Egypt will be the main gate for the export of all raw material come from Africa to all over the world, especially Europe and China and Japan and Russia also.
On that note, let me ask you, where are our opportunities currently?
Our opportunity country will concentrate in new Canal Suez corridor, new Suez Canal logistics area. A lot of multinational company make direct foreign investment in this area, because it will be the future of 40 years in the field of trade. And the new capital administrative city were built mainly to facilitate and to present a VIP service to a lot of businessmen come to invest in this area, and it will be the gate of the world in the coming 10 years, for example. And we take a lot of achievement in industrial zone and a lot of achievement in the field of agriculture. If we go back through the last 2 years, especially in the field of agriculture, agriculture export of Egypt increased by 30%, even in the time of COVID-19 crisis, and it's very, very good achievement to Egyptian economy. Also, the transfer of Egyptian working abroad to the Egypt increased. This is send a clear and positive message to the world. In Egypt is a safe, and Egypt is a more attractive country to all over the foreign investors to come and invest and to come and make industries here in Egypt, and also to make a saving in the banking sector. We still present a very good interest rate of saving.
So this falls within the sustainable investment scope?
Yes, this is this is our topic.
The industries that are benefiting from sustainable investment?
The industry work in the field of liquid gas, the industry work in the field of solar energy, like Binban solar energy, also the industries related to fresh product like orange, lemon, and many different fresh products have a good and wonderful achievement in the Europe market. Fishing farm, for example, a lot of product from Egypt export to Europe and matching with world standard, like Ghalioun and like Boursaid fishing farm. Also greenhouse built in Alamein. A lot of many different products related to liquid gas and gas and oil will take right position in Egypt. Also the future of petrochemical industry in Egypt take a lot of advantage and a lot of export. The export of steel, export of ceramic, a lot of many key industry work in Egypt take advantage.
You have sectors such as real estate, for example.
Yeah.
This is a sector that we consider something for people to buy, households and so on, but nobody really thinks of it as an export product.
Yeah, we think about the future of export of real estate. Why export of real estate? Export of real estate to make an announcement about your future smart city, like new Alamein city and new capital administrative city.
And here when we say export real estate, it doesn't mean that you're sending the real estate abroad. It means that you're bringing...
Bring foreign investors to come and invest in real estate in Egypt. Why? Because we have a lot of compounds in New Alamein city, especially the shiny, all the shiny weather all the year.
The tourism,
and tourism sector will facilitate the investor to come and enjoy for accommodation for 2 weeks. And all the year, the owner company will make a rent of these units and will bring a profit
and can be your perfect marketing tool abroad as well, because he will be, or he or she will be marketing your product, marketing your country abroad. So this will enhance the tourism. Before our time's up, I understand you have a conference coming up on sustainable investment. What are the main objectives of this conference and the theme?
Our conference under the name of the future of digital transformation and economic growth in MENA. Why MENA? MENA, Middle East and North Africa, because Egypt located in this area. We will focus in education reform and the communication in the field of education with Canada, for example, with America, with UK. The future of sustainable investment in Egypt. We will care about the export of real estate because it's a very important topic. We will care about the positive position of Egyptian economy, especially after COVID-19 crisis. We will care about women empowerment in Egypt, because women empowerment in Egypt take a lot of care under the leadership of President Sisi. And also we will take a discussion related to health care and the new insurance law. So a lot of many different topics will be supported to the Egyptian economy and will be
highlighted
and highlight a positive message to
Mr.
foreign
Ahmed.
investors to come and invest in Egypt.
Mr. Ahmed Khattab, the chairman of the Sustainable Investment Committee in the Egyptian Canadian Business Council. A pleasure having you on the show, and we wish you the best of luck in your conference. I'm Ayman Salah, wishing you a very good night. See you again, same time next week here on the Business Insider.